Imagine a world where reality itself becomes customizable, not through illusion or deception, but through direct modulation of perception. Reality Stream Modulators are one of the most revolutionary conceptual technologies ever proposed. Devices capable of editing how we are seen, heard, and experienced by others in real time. Picture a future where your voice, your face, even the emotional texture of your presence can be adjusted on demand, seamlessly blending biology, quantum optics, and neural interface design. The foundation of this concept begins with an idea that's already partially emerging today: the digital avatar. Right now, we manipulate our digital likenesses through filters, AI voices, and virtual reality skins. But a reality stream modulator takes that one step further. Instead of altering a 2D image on a screen, it alters the live sensory feed of reality itself. To others around you, your presence becomes fluid, editable, dynamic, governed by your own aesthetic or psychological settings. You could appear taller, sound calmer, emit confidence, or even radiate an aura of trust. Reality itself becomes a personal broadcast. This system operates by intercepting and reconstructing perceptual data. In its theoretical form, a reality stream modulator would use quantum light field manipulation combined with neural frequency synchronization. Every human eye perceives photons bouncing off surfaces: your skin, your clothes, your movements. The modulator sits between that interaction, bending, reinterpreting, and projecting new light data back to the observer's sensory cortex via micro-resonant fields. In simple terms, it edits how others' brains receive your existence. The earliest form of this technology could begin as an augmentation layer, similar to augmented reality glasses, where everyone wearing the right device perceives a filtered version of reality. A corporate presentation, for example, might feature a speaker whose nervousness is visually filtered out. A perfectly calm, confident professional projected to every viewer through perception sync modulation. Over time, as neural interface systems advance, the need for external devices disappears. Instead, nanoscopic light field emitters embedded in skin or clothing could create modulated perception zones, personal reality bubbles, where your chosen self-image is always active. Now imagine how this transforms communication. Every interaction becomes a customizable performance. Social anxiety, physical insecurity, and bias could fade because everyone projects how they wish to be seen, their idealized inner self made visible. But at the same time, authenticity becomes a philosophical puzzle. If everyone is filtered, is anyone still real? Would we redefine honesty not as being unaltered, but as being consistent between your private and public modulation profiles? The applications extend far beyond personal aesthetics. In diplomacy, a negotiator could radiate sincerity through biofeedback-driven emotional modulation. In education, teachers could project clarity and engagement cues that keep students attentive. In entertainment, performers might blend physical presence and illusion so smoothly that the line between concert and dream dissolves. And in healthcare, patients suffering from depression or trauma could use modulation therapy to literally change the way the world reflects them, restoring self-worth by altering perception feedback loops. From a technological standpoint, several fields would converge to make this possible. Neural resonance mapping, for instance, would allow the system to interpret and synchronize with the user's emotional state in real time. Adaptive quantum optics would create the visual distortions and enhancements, shaping how photons interact with the modulated zone. Acoustic field manipulation would reconstruct the voice, not through speakers, but through vibration fields that directly influence air molecules. And finally, effective AI processors would act as interpreters, learning the user's personality, anticipating how they wish to be perceived, and adjusting the modulation parameters accordingly. If this sounds like science fiction, it's worth noting that we already possess fragments of these technologies. Emotion-sensing AI can detect subtle facial cues. Voice modulation software can change pitch and tone in milliseconds. Neural implants can alter perception in medical contexts, The Reality Stream Modulator simply merges these capabilities into one continuous feedback ecosystem, an interface between the subjective and the external world. The deeper question is not how this technology works, but what it does to human relationships. Consider truth. If perception can be edited in real time, will truth become relative? In a world of customizable perception, persuasion becomes programmable. Politics, business, and even casual conversation could become battlegrounds of aesthetic influence. When everyone can broadcast a curated self-image, authenticity becomes a luxury, or perhaps a rebellion. Being unmodulated could become a cultural statement, like walking in a digital world without makeup or filters. Privacy becomes even more complex. If others can only perceive you through a reality layer you control, can surveillance still function the same way? Cameras and sensors might only record the modulated version, erasing objective documentation. Crime, journalism, and law would have to redefine evidence. A world with reality stream modulators is one where reality itself can lie, not maliciously, but by design. On the other hand, this technology could empower people who have been misrepresented or marginalized. For instance, someone discriminated against based on appearance could instantly remove that bias by choosing how they appear. Beauty, identity, and self-expression become free from genetics and circumstance. Reality becomes democratic, editable by all, not owned by any. In a society obsessed with image, reality stream modulators could finally equalize perception. But equality of control doesn't guarantee equality of access. The early versions of this tech would likely be expensive, corporate-controlled, and subscription-based. Imagine premium modulation packages sold by mega-tech conglomerates, charisma enhancers, leadership presets, or celebrity presence overlays. Entire industries could form around psychological branding. AI stylists for your personality signature, neuromarketers designing your ideal aura. The modulator becomes not just a tool, but a new form of social currency. From a psychological perspective, the line between internal and external identity could blur entirely. Our brains rely on feedback from others to construct a sense of self. If everyone perceives you differently depending on your modulation settings, who are you really? One version for work, one for love, one for your followers, and each equally real. This might not fragment identity. It could expand it. Humanity may evolve into a multi-threaded consciousness, where reality itself is a customizable interface. The technical challenges would be immense. The processor load required to track multiple perception streams in real time would dwarf anything current quantum computers handle. Each observer's neural profile is unique, meaning the modulator would have to adapt its output individually. 1 billion versions of you for 1 billion different minds. That means global reality modulation would need distributed neural processing, a cloud of AI systems interpreting human sensory input continuously, likely via quantum entanglement networks. Essentially, humanity would share a perception cloud. Ethically, this is a minefield. Governments could weaponize modulation to control public perception, literally rewriting crowd reality in political rallies or protests. Military applications might include stealth presence fields where soldiers appear invisible or harmless until they strike. Propaganda could become perceptually encoded. People wouldn't just hear falsehoods, they'd see them as truth. Thus, global regulatory frameworks would be essential, defining what counts as ethical modulation and what crosses into psychological manipulation. Yet despite the risks, the creative potential is staggering. Imagine the arts redefined, actors performing in real-time reality edits, museums where sculptures appear alive, cities glowing differently based on mood. Architecture could become reactive, responding to the collective emotional state of its inhabitants. Fashion could evolve from clothing design into aura design, programmable energy fields that express feeling, status, or story. A philosophical revolution would accompany this technology. Humanity has always been defined by how it perceives the world and how the world perceives us. Reality Stream Modulators merge those two directions into one, making perception reciprocal and fluid. Instead of asking, what is real, we might begin asking, whose version of real are we sharing right now? For content creators, influencers, and educators, the implications are enormous. Presentations would no longer rely on cameras or green screens. Your entire reality could be staged dynamically. Education could become fully immersive. History lessons that reconstruct the past visually in your environment. Physics classes where gravity modulation is demonstrated live. The entire concept of a video might vanish as creators broadcast directly into modulated perception feeds. You wouldn't watch XenoGrid, you'd enter it. This also hints at the future of the internet, the transition from Web 3.0 to what could be called the perceptual web. Instead of consuming data, users will exchange reality streams, personalized layers of perception stitched together into a collective digital environment. Think of it as a network where every person's viewpoint is a node in an evolving fabric of shared experience. Reality becomes not singular but modular, a social construct sculpted through technology. To maintain balance, society would need new forms of verification, quantum authenticity anchors, ensuring that certain baseline elements of reality remain consistent for safety and law. These anchors might form the digital bedrock upon which all modulated layers operate. Think of them as the gravity of truth, ensuring we don't drift too far into total illusion. Even religion and philosophy would feel the shockwave. Many traditions define enlightenment as seeing beyond illusion. But in a world where illusion becomes a tool, enlightenment may evolve into mastering one's modulation, consciously shaping one's own narrative reality while respecting others. The old boundary between material and metaphysical dissolves. The act of perception becomes creation itself. The most profound outcome of reality stream modulators might not be the power to change how others see us, but to remind us that perception has always been fluid. Even now, without technology, every person experiences a slightly different version of reality, filtered by emotion, bias, and memory. The modulator simply externalizes that truth, giving us control over the filters we already live with unconsciously. Perhaps the ultimate purpose of this technology isn't deception, but empathy. If we can adjust how we are perceived, maybe we can also adjust how we perceive others, stepping into their emotional wavelengths, literally seeing the world through their lens. Reality stream modulators could evolve from vanity tools into bridges of understanding. At its core, this technology asks a timeless question through futuristic means. What does it mean to be seen? In every age, humans have sought to express their inner world through language, art, fashion, and now algorithms. The reality stream modulator is simply the next evolution of that desire. It doesn't create fake reality. It gives each of us authorship over our own visible truth. So as we edge toward this future, one where the border between perception and projection fades, we must ask ourselves not just what we can modulate, but what we should. Because the greatest reality stream of all is not the one we edit, but the one we share together. Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment, to share your thoughts, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future uploads. Your support helps this channel grow. Thank you for watching.